Hi guys! Today I'm going to teach you how to make these cute pig cupcakes. So for them you will need your water, your chocolate icing, black food dye, your cupcake, your pink fondant, your paintbrush, your toothpick, your rolling pin, palette knife or butter knife, and some icing sugar to dust your bench. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is grab our cupcake. Then we're going to get our chocolate icing and smother it on. So I'm just going to smear all that on. Now we are ready to make our little piggy. So now I'm going to grab my pink fondant and make all different sizes for the body parts. Pink fondant, it's soft icing that you can mould. So we'll just pinch a bit off for his head. Not too big and not too small. Roll it into a ball. Then we will press him onto the bench just to flatten him a little bit because he's meant to look like he's sinking into the mud. And then I'll get another piece for his belly. So we'll roll that into a ball as well. So for his belly, I've pulled out a bigger piece than the head. And then we're rolling it into a ball and we're also flattening that down on the bench a little bit too. So I'm just going to pat him down and pat down the edges. I think that looks pretty good. One is bigger than the other, that's good. And now we are going to make his little feet. So we'll need to get 4 pieces and roll them into balls, which need to be quite small. So make sure you got 4. Once you've rolled your little hooves, you can now press them with your finger to make them a little bit flat too. And then once you've done that, you can grab your toothpick and make a line across his hoof. Do that on each one. Now we are going to make his little snout. So we'll get a small ball again, roll it in. So you've got a nice ball. We're also going to flatten that one as well. And then we are going to get our paintbrush and stick it onto our face. So just a tiny bit of water. So I've used water for my fondant to stick as it's like a glue. And we can stick him on. I'm going to pinch a bit more of the fondant to make the ears. So I'll roll that into a ball as well. So I'm going to dust my bench with my icing sugar, which is just a clean cloth with icing sugar inside and a rubber band to tie it up. And now we're going to put our pink fondant down and roll it out. So we're going to make the little piggy's ears. So we'll roll it out, not too thin and not too thick. Then we are going to use our toothpick to cut it. We're going to cut a triangle. We're going to pick it up and pinch the top a little. And we'll do the same with the other one. I think we're about ready to stick stuff on. So we'll grab our cupcake and we'll stick our belly on first, I think. And then we will grab our head and we'll stick our ears on first. So we'll grab a bit of their water, just a little dab for the glue up the top where the ears are going to go. And I'm going to grab my ears and kind of just press lightly on top. So now I'm going to use the end of my paintbrush because it's got a rounded edge to make my little nostrils. So I'm going to poke 2 holes. Perfect. Now for my favourite part is sticking everything on. So I'll put his head on, I'll just press it down. I think that looks quite cute. Now, I don't want to forget his little belly button, so we're going to use our toothpick and just do a little hole at the bottom. Give it a little bit of a wiggle. I think that looks quite cute. And we'll stick his little hooves on next. We'll just press that into the icing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have to make his eyes. So I'm going to grab some black food colouring. I'm going to grab that same paintbrush and I'm going to dab it in and do 2 little dots for the eyes. Now I'll do a little smile, just a little smirk on his face. All I have to do is make him a little dirty, like a pig in mud. So I'm gonna get my finger on the chocolate icing and smudge it on. This is probably my favourite part, making him all muddy and dirty. A pig in mud. I think we're all done. Now here is your finished piggy, doing what a piggy loves best, rolling in a mud bath.
If you're anything like me, you'll have your favourite tool that you love to work with. For me, it's my hammer. It just feels right in my hand. For you, it could be a paintbrush, a pair of scissors, or even a hammer too. Well, I'm going to show you how to make your very own wooden toolbox to house all your favourite tools. And here's what you need. Some PVA glue, a cordless drill, some drill bits, 25mm brad nails, a dovetail saw, timber filler, a damp cloth, a hammer, sanding pad, pencil, ruler and spatula. The toolbox is being made out of some 15mm plywood, which I've cut to size. And for the handle, I'm using some 32mm dowel. But really, you can use any scrap timber that you're having around. And if you don't have any scrap timber, you can even use cardboard and some sticky tape. Just experiment. It's all about having fun. For the measurements, what you need to do is grab the biggest tool you own. For me, it's the hammer. So I'm sitting it down and drawing a rectangle around that. Then 2 smaller rectangles, which will be the sides. And then on each end, it starts as a square, and then I cut the angle up the top, which creates a triangle where the handle will be housed. So let me show you where the nails are going to go. Basically, we want to put nails all around the edges. So there's going to be 1, 2 on this side, 2 on the opposite side, and then on the ends, we're going to have 1 here, another one there, same on the other side, and 1 smack bang in the middle through the base. Now I'm going to pre-drill so it's easier to bang your nails in. You are going to need an adult to help you with this. Just make sure that you clamp down the piece that you're working on and then pre-drill wherever you're putting a nail. All right, now all the holes are drilled, we're ready to put our toolbox together. So I'm going to glue along the edges and nail it all off. And that's our toolbox put together. Now we can use some wood filler to cover up all the nail holes. And you just want to use a spatula to apply it. Now the wood filler's on, we'll sit our box down to dry and we can get on to making the handle. And a good trick for measuring it is to sit the dowel on top of your toolbox, keep it flush at one side, and then mark to the outer edge of the other end. That way, you'll never go wrong. Now that it's marked, you can sit the toolbox off to the side and then clamp your dowel in place, and with the help of an adult, you can cut it to size. Now that the wood fill is dry, we can sand up all the edges and where all the nails were. Now we're ready to put our handle in, and a good tip so we don't get glue all the way down our handle is to slide it through the hole first. Then we're going to glue up the back of this hole. I'll put the handle through that hole and just push it past a little bit so I can glue the front of this hole. And there you have it, your very own wooden toolbox. But me personally, I think it's lacking a little bit of style, so I'm going to hand it over to my mate Jacqui and see what she can do with it.
Hi, my name's Kat and I'm a nail artist. Here's how you paint a simple floral design on your nails. All you'll need is a yellow, a green, a white nail polish, some cotton pads, nail polish remover, a dotting tool, foil, base coat, top coat, and I'm using a hand model. This is Monique. First, I'm going to clean the nail using a cotton pad and some nail polish remover. Next, I'm applying a base coat all over the nail. And now wait for it to dry. The base coat helps protect your natural nail. Apply your favourite colour all over the nail as a base. Wait for the first coat to dry before applying the second. Apply some white and yellow polish to the foil. This will act as a palette. Using a dotting tool or the back of a paintbrush, dip it into the polish and create 5 spots for petals. Leave a space in the middle for the yellow polish. For the flower bud, use a different colour. Place 1 dot in the centre of the petals. And now finishing it off with a glossy top coat. No matter the time of year, spring has sprung.
Adam and I have teamed up to make this cool wooden toolbox. Now Adam has done all the hard work in building it, and now it's my turn to make this new toolbox into something old and rustic. What you'll need is some rust-coloured paint and some red-coloured paint, some water-based stain, a mask, a paintbrush, an old rag, some sandpaper and a drop sheet. Now the first step is to paint your toolbox with your rust-coloured paint. Now paint the inside and the bottom everywhere. Let's get arty. Now make sure you get every nook and cranny with your paint. You want this whole toolbox covered. Now my toolbox is completely covered, it's time to let it dry for 2 hours and then repeat with the red paint. Yep, that's all dry. Time for the red paint. And just like before, cover the whole box with your red paint. Okay, now that's all painted, it's time to let it dry for another 2 hours. And just remember, while things are drying, it's a good time to wash your brushes. It's been 2 hours and my toolbox is completely dry, so it's time to sand it up and make it look really antique. Now I recommend using a mask when sanding because there'll be lots of dust. So just get your sandpaper. Now you can also use a block of wood to put in your sandpaper so you have a bit more grip. Sand where you think your toolbox is going to get its most wear. So think the handle and the edges. Now we're up to our final step. Just to give the toolbox a coat of water-based stain and varnish. It gives it more of a weathered look, but make sure it's water-based. It's so much easier to clean up at the end. So just get your old rag, dip it in, and rub it on. there you go, my awesome toolbox with a rustic twist. You know what? It looks so good, I might just keep it for myself.
This is Larry, he's 4 weeks old, and I'm going to give him a bottle. Oh, so he's pulling really hard. He's obviously pretty hungry. Sorry, Larry, it's all gone. I'm here at Carmsley Hill City Farm, and my Get Arty challenge for today is to paint a mural on this wall. Now, I've had a walk around and there's so many cute animals, but by far my favourite are the cows, so that's what I'm going to paint here. But first, I need to sketch up an idea. I think I'm going to go with a really simple, cartoony kind of style with some cows along the bottom, and I'll fill in the top with a bit of colourful and bright foliage. So my next step is to figure out how to transfer my drawing to this wall. It's a pretty organic process, so I'm going to do my cows around this height and foliage along here. So I'm just going to mark that out roughly with a pencil. Okay, now it's time to paint. I'm painting the head of my cow, and it's really similar to the way that I drew it. So it's just sort of a squashed oval kind of shape. Now for the ears. This one's a bit of an oval shape, and the other one that I'm doing has a bit of a pointy end. They don't need to be exactly the same. And on the inside of the ear, follow that shape just with a smaller circle. And now for the horns, they're just a pointed shape in towards one another. And now for the patterns on my cow's face. For all of my different cows, I've done basically a swirly kind of line on the left and the right side of their face. To clean up my edges, I'm just going to go along the outline with some black and then do the nostrils and a little smile. With the black, you do need 2 coats to make sure that colour is really solid. Once it's dry, I'm going to come in with some white and just do 2 dots for the eyes. I picked some really bright colours, a nice bright blue and a bright yellow to pop against the black and white. When you're painting murals, you can't just use any old paint. I'm using house paint because they can mix you any colour that you want, and because it's outside, it can also stand the sunshine and the rain. Because this is such a big space, you need some special tools, so thick brushes and rollers really help. Hours later and I'm finally finished, and I'm pretty happy with my family of cows.